So ladies, gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a brand new news roundup video covering, well, to be honest, this is going all over the place. I want to launch right into a brand new mid-season trailer for The Penguin because, I mean, that was freaking awesome.
I want Oz to feel pain. I need him to suffer for what he's done.
Don't fucking touch her!
It really feels like it's showing the momentum of the final 4 episodes that we've been teased with from reviews that talked about the entire season, and how it really feels just like all-out war. So at the very beginning there, I know what a lot of people are thinking with this trailer. Oh my god, Drifter Wayne is back again, going to the Batcave. But I have to say that this doesn't really match up to Bruce at all, and I'm glad to see that quite a few people are noticing this. It's not the same gear that he would wear, it's not the same motorcycle helmet, and sure, you could say that is subject to change for Bruce, but really, the trailer gives it away if you pay extra attention. What you see this biker wearing really matches Vic's coat and Vic's shoes. So my absolute confidence lies with this indeed being Victor. And it even matches up the scenes later on in the trailer in where we see this figure pulling out a gun right next to a very familiar bike. And then later on, we can see Vic firing this same gun in that same coat. So I just wanted to put it out there and get it out the way before people jumped to conclusions. I mean, don't get me wrong, the tunnel we see Vic going down on this bike is most certainly like an homage, a tribute, if you will, to Bruce going back into the Batcave at the beginning of the Batman. But as Matt Reeves said right before the series release, to rip off the Band-Aid, there is no Robert Pattinson in this series. Back to this being Vic, pulling out a gun. I mean, you guys know where we're at and Vic's journey, accepting his path in life now. I mean, I think a lot of us are worried about him. Let's just hope that he doesn't get into too much trouble here, even though this particular scene, as you're seeing on screen, looks like a very dangerous situation. But another part of this trailer is just that I'm looking forward to seeing how Oz even manages to rally more street-level people here. I mean, sure, he's been in the business for a while and has likely gotten to know a lot of people, but he doesn't exactly have a large following. I mean, think about it. There's like a couple of guys, there's Vic, there's Eve Carlo and her girls, his mum, and that's kind of about it. But I appreciate the little speech that he does about who's got the power in this city. You have the Maronis, you have the Falcones, but why the hell not us? He's trying to really appeal to those who have larger ambitions, mirroring his own, to perhaps want to gain more through being on the winning side, but through also yet starting something new and not having to pertain to one of the existing crime families. Now, as we go throughout this trailer, obviously given the events so far with the truths being revealed to Sophia and the ending events of episode 4 with what I'd like to call her true metamorphosis, she is going to rain down hellfire on Oz, and this trailer teases that in the most visceral scenes for these future episodes. Now, Gotham here really does look to be a war zone in some of the other shots we get, with explosions erupting, seemingly starting from underground. It kind of reminds me of the explosion in The Dark Knight Rises and how it just kind of erupts from underneath. It really does make one wonder if Bruce is looking out the window, even though he's probably asleep during the day given his nocturnal activities. But, you know, at the top of Wayne Enterprises being like, damn, yeah, maybe I should be out there dealing with this, you know? Back to Sophia, as I've been suggesting alongside many of you in these theories, she's probably going to try and make Oz suffer so badly in the ways that she has lost, you know, Alberto, for instance. And she can replicate that onto Oz by going after his mother, perhaps even Victor. And as featured in this trailer, it looks like Sophia could be in Oz's apartment, and she's found a picture there of Eve Carlo that she once gave to him, showing how she's probably gotta, end up going bye-bye. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I think Sophia's really looking to get even there. And it might not end with Eve. As I said, what about Oz's mum? What about Vic himself? But mainly for me, the scenes we get teased with in this trailer for Kristen Miliotti's Sophia Falcone talking about,
My father's legacy is dead. If you join me, you will have a new family.
I am just ready for more of this gold tier performance that she's bringing to our screens. I may sound like a freaking simp there, but hey, I'll take it. She is amazing. Now, the final scenes of the trailer seem to be likely right towards the very, very end of the series, possibly even episode 8, as the power struggle is coming to a close, and we see all kinds of mad scenes unfolding. Even Salvatore Maroni fighting Oz in person. Like, what the hell's going on there? Now, Sophia's character design as well, like, as you can tell, like, clearly is reflecting the change that she's gone through, and her and Oz, with the way the trailer is cut, seemingly shows them in a bit of a shootout. And you can even see that Oz was previously bound with the tape around his forearm. So again, I kind of wonder how he gets out of this one, as he always seems to manage to do. But man, Sophia looks absolutely possessed when she's firing that gun. And, all I'm kind of thinking is, even though it feels obvious, I really don't want her to die. Now, it would be really disturbing if she ended right back up at Arkham, because there's something incredibly tragic in that as well. But, I'm a big fan of not always killing, Gotham/Batman villains off and maybe sending her to Blackgate or something. But maybe this is the kind of story that can only end one way, with the whole neither one can live while the other survives. So they're both gonna try and attain the kingpin of Gotham ship. I don't know what I'm saying there, really. They're gonna basically die to get it. And kind of spoiler alert here, it's obvious that Oz is gonna get it. But I don't want Sophia to die. I don't want it to happen. I don't want Vic to die. I don't want Francis to die. But things, especially according to people who've seen the whole season or series, it's gonna get so messed up. So again, love this mid-season trailer. Just wanted to do a bit of a mini breakdown here. Let me know your own thoughts, your own theories with the footage that we got, and what you're most excited for going into the last 4 episodes. But up next, in actually related Batverse news, guys, we have, some very promising news here. So from DC Film News, they're saying, since Dune Messiah begins production in 2026, that means Greg Fraser might return for the Batman 2. Now, you may be like, well, wasn't that obvious? But actually, maybe not. If you tuned into a news roundup I did not so long ago, it was looking as though that maybe there was a possibility in where this might not have happened, because Matt Reeves was doing interviews and he said, Greg Fraser is very busy and in demand, even Michael Giacchino and whatnot. And yeah, like Denis Villeneuve's Dune Messiah could have been filming next year, which obviously with the Batman 2 likely shooting around April, May, like he would have been torn. Now, I'm sure they would have found like a cinematographer to make the movie, to mimic how beautiful the first movie shot, but still it was a bit of like a bit of a deflating feeling. But hey, I mean, I think he's going to be on board. This is just some encouraging news for those who are concerned about that. And not only that, guys, if there's one person who I want to handle this, obviously it's Greg Fraser, but if there's one person that I want to handle snow in Gotham City in the Batman Part 2, it is Greg Fraser. Now, how do I know about snow? Well, a promo quite a while ago now, which I didn't really talk about, gave us a glimpse of snow in Gotham. As you can see here, this is Matt Reeves' Gotham in the Penguin. I don't know what shot this is from, but you can tell, especially as we're in November, and we know from Matt Reeves that the series is going to get up to the events of Christmas and New Year's, that there's going to be probably even more snow in the Batman Part 2. So again, just wanted to give you a little taste and a teaser for the environment of Gotham that we could be getting in the sequel. Up next, guys, moving over to the realms of the DCU, we've obviously had the reveal of Krypto with Superman from James Gunn, and a little bit of a tidbit on top of that, because I've actually put my preference out there for if Krypto should talk, kind of like Cosmo from Guardians or not. And James Gunn replied to this user saying, "This man loves talking animals," and Gunn said, "He's a dog. He doesn't talk. unless you include barking. But there was still a little bit of a concern there, because you could argue that Krypto, they could have made it such, well, yeah, like Cosmo and Guardians, they may have done something there with how he's a freaking super dog with heat vision and flying and all of this stuff. Hey, is talking so much of a stretch? But I was like, no, I mean, like, I don't want him to talk. I feel like there's something a bit more endearing about, having Krypto just bark. Do you know what I mean? But let me know if you are actually on the side of getting a really kind of talkative Krypto. I get that this universe is going comic book crazy, and I'm looking forward to that, because it's going to bring to fruition all of these things that you would want to see out of a comic book, Batman and Superman. But yeah, maybe not that. And I know a lot of you were asking me in the comments section of my previous video, how did I get this wallpaper on my phone of the planet actually spinning? I don't know if that's, showing, yeah, it's in focus, but a lot of you were wondering about that. You can go to DCU Updates on Twitter, and they've repurposed the video that James Gunn released into a format that would fit your phone, and all you need to do is save that. There's websites where you can download Twitter videos, just paste the link, and yeah, just apply that to your phone, and you'll have it just like I have it there, and it's freaking awesome. So to everyone asking about that, there you go. And I also saw a lot of people wondering, I'm typing like, Boba, like, dude, enjoy your wedding, man. Don't film it on your wedding day. I don't think people realized that I was joking in my previous video, because we were talking about the first Superman teaser. Not necessarily a teaser trailer, but go watch my previous video if you're wondering about what I'm talking about there. But I was a bit stressed, because obviously being such a huge Superman fan, I want to be able to do a video covering that. But obviously CCXP, the event it could actually drop at, is taking place December 5th, the 6th, and the 7th. So I was like, damn, I might not be able to cover it. Don't worry. I'm not actually going to run out and do a little kind of reaction video. But what I will try and do is on the Saturday, if I get a spare 20 minutes or whatever, I will do a reaction video. I felt like I had to address that, because I was surprised with how many comments who were like scolding me, being like, Boba, come on, man, enjoy. No. I mean, maybe I might do it in my tux, you never know. While people were getting seated at the ceremony, I could just be doing a little breakdown in the... I'm joking. Or am I? Yep. Hey. Other DC Studios news, by the way, we've got a new merch drop of the DC Studios logo. So if you're living in the US, you can buy this from the official DCshop.com or whatever it's called. Yes, shop.dc.com. It's not out in the UK as of when I'm making this video, but that's how it happened for the Superman 2025 shirt and hat. It released on the American store first, so I assume this is also coming out to the UK store second, just for any fellow Brits out there who are wondering how you can get this yourself. And James Gunn has said, meet the monstrous team at booth 4327 at New York Comic Con, and we can see that they've actually got a really badass setup there for Creature Commandos, where you get teasers of Cersei, various other characters that we didn't even know were going to be in Creature Commandos. Now, you may be wanting me to break that down, but I'm not going to do it right now, because I believe tonight there will be a panel for Creature Commandos where we could be getting a new trailer, and I think we are. So if that gets put up online, I'd rather save my thoughts, my reaction, my breakdown to do a video on that tomorrow on the Sunday. So I'm going to just leave it there, but I'm really looking forward to getting another glimpse. Now, I'm not getting my expectations insanely high for like, oh my god, it's going to set this up, that up, and it's going to hint at this in the background and Wonder Woman over there, but you never know what it could do. So there's all kinds of reasons I'm looking forward to seeing the show, but also seeing the trailer tomorrow to see what kind of mini hints and references and Easter eggs we could get a look at. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel for that if you haven't done so already. And by the way, if you haven't liked the video at this point, do consider liking it to help this float out there in the algorithm a little bit more. But up next, guys, oh god. From DC Film News here, recommend following them, they're freaking awesome. Joker 2 releases on digital October 29th. Less than a month since its theatrical release and it's estimated to lose $150 million to $200 million. As you guys know, it's like a new kind of practice these days when movies don't do as well as studios want them to do. They're like rushing to put it out on digital a few weeks later so they can get some people who may still consider renting it to get that money in and include it in the profits, obviously. But it's also not really that great as well because, sure, you could say anyone who may have seen the film would have seen it by now. Okay, but it also takes away the opportunity from anyone who would go still see it at the theaters if you can just rent it at home. Also, with it releasing on digital, it promotes, it doesn't directly promote piracy, I would say, but there will be clean versions out there that people can just replicate online and maybe watch it that way instead. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like doing this is a bad practice for all kinds of reasons, even though I understand what they're going for, but also it sucks anyway. Like, I know this film is incredibly controversial. I don't think it's an awful film. I think it's kind of, in my personal opinion, reductive to say that, in the sense of everything that goes into making a film, like the performances, the merits of the musical numbers. Even if you don't like the musical numbers, there may be things you can find out of it. There's stuff that the story does that I do like. There's lots that I may not like. Do you know what I mean? So I know this film didn't tick everyone's box. I mean, clearly it didn't. Quite the opposite, in fact. But it is what it is, and it's being reflected in the results. And if you haven't checked out my review, by the way, where I kind of try my best to get into, what Joker was trying to do, whether they should have even attempted that or not, but trying to appreciate what they were going for, but also criticize at the same time what that may have done at the end of the day. Go check it out. But yeah, Joker 2, guys, on digital in just, like a week or so's time? There you have it. Now, in other news, we have the official trailer for Dune Prophecy. Now, I don't know about you guys. I am very, very much so looking forward to this series, and this trailer, I think, really knocks it out the park, especially if you're into Denis Villeneuve's Dune and Dune Part 2, and you're looking forward to Dune Messiah. Now, that watch now at the beginning kind of had me like, watch now. So to get into a little mini breakdown about this, some of you may or may not know it is set 10,000 years before the ascension of Paul Atreides. Dune Prophecy follows two Harkonnen sisters as they combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and establish the fabled sect that will become known as the Bene Gesserit. So for me, seeing this somewhat origin to their grander plan that will echo throughout many thousands of years into the future, up until obviously present day Dune with Paul Atreides, even though their plan obviously gets subverted with the birth of Paul Atreides, if you know your lore there. But their desire is to govern the future, and as we know, they're looking to create the Kwisatz Haderach, of whom has the ability to not only have prescience, but have the memory of both male and female ancestors. Basically, long story short here, the Bene Gesserit want to create the most OP figurehead they can possibly create to put on the throne, which obviously drives them to create this breeding program to produce such a being over the thousands of years that will bring us into present day with the movies. And they do this through specifically tuning together various bloodlines from the great houses. And as you can tell, this is exactly what this series is delving into. And, to create such a long executed plan requires immense discretion and, a carefully executed secret that spans 10 frickin' thousand years. Which, of course, is what invites all of the blatant, political intrigue surrounding the great houses that we're seeing in the teasers and this official trailer. Even the production of this show looks to be such a cool and, high quality match, dare I say it, to the Dune movies. Obviously, we need to wait until the episodes come out, but the shots that they're showing here, I'm definitely locked in. Now, I'm a big fan of a bunch of the cast here. Mark Strong, I'm a big fan fan of Travis Hart. Shout out to the Vikings fans there of Ragnar Lothbrok. But he's playing a character known as Desmond Hart, and he is very intriguing to me, especially with how the trailer shows him warning Mark Strong's character, and he's playing the Emperor at this time, that there's a war hidden in plain sight, with him being the only one who can tell the truth. And he wants to be the one to wipe out every trace of sisters from all of their worlds. And meanwhile, she's just kind of like,
I run a school for young women. We're not a threat to anyone.
So with the plot, it really does feel like there's a conflict with how the Imperium should be handled, with Desmond Hart cottoning on to what the sisters are up to and threatening to expose their very long plan in the making, and that will, enact itself over a much longer time into the future. And with them seeing the threat he poses in disrupting their larger plan, this is when he says,
"That is why I've been gifted a great power."
And with that line, as what many are theorizing with the character, that it could be teasing that he's a truthsayer, especially given the scenes teased in this trailer with his clear insight into other characters.
I see the corruption in your heart. Same way I see the blood trailing your every step. I'm the only one that can tell you the truth. That is why I've been gifted a great power.
Now, I'm not an absolute Dune lore master whatsoever, so doing some research into this, truthsayers actually have skills developed by the Bene Gesserit, which makes me wonder if he has some kind of past with the sisters that link into his own present-day motivations and disdain for them. But then again, you can be born with this gift as well. So ultimately, really looking forward to see where his character goes. I love the fact that he's been cast in a series like this. It kind of reminds me of watching him in Raised by Wolves, which unfortunately got cancelled a while ago. But this is like another kind of sci-fi show we can see him do really well in. So looking forward to that. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you'd want me to dive into this even more on the channel, maybe even cover it when it releases. But we'll be looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Now, in Marvel's Spider-Man news, yes, I'm going to be covering this just because I've had some thoughts about it for a long time. I haven't talked about it for quite a while on the channel. But Tom Holland recently went on a podcast with Rich Roll, and, they talk about all kinds of different things, but they actually get into quite a bit of depth about the future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man and how things have even got to the point for him and where he has a little bit of say-so and some power, if you will, in the creative direction of its future, like actually sitting in the boardroom and talking and mapping out where this is going to go. Now, the reason why I wanted to get into this is because he said a couple of quotes, and setting this up initially, a lot of people were really concerned, myself included, of the direction of Spider-Man 4, just in terms of how there's rumors and how they were deciding between Sony and Disney, hey, is this going to be a street-level thing, or we got to go, hey, with the success of No Way Home, let's go full multiverse again, bring Andrew back and Toby. And I get the financial side of that, but to me, that couldn't have been more disappointing in a sense. Now, don't get me wrong. My, turn the brain off brain is like, oh, yeah, more Andrew and Toby. Like, yeah, let's go. But at the same time, no, that's not my preference, because with the way No Way Home ended, it set up such a cool soft reboot in my mind. And what I mean by soft reboot is obviously it doesn't get rid of the canon, but it gives Peter a blank canvas for his future, going to college in a rundown apartment, struggling to make money, basically, emulate the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire blueprint. And it's also predicated off of such a tragic point in Peter's story where he has to kind of maybe get to know MJ again, maybe where she's not so interested in him, maybe he gets sidetracked with another character. It's just there's a lot of interesting things they can play with there while he finds his way back to MJ and Ned. And it can be more of a point of view driven Peter Parker story, whereas what I felt with the previous movies, all while they have their merits and valid criticisms here and there, I've always felt like, and I'm not alone in this clearly, that they were more ensemble feeling. Without me going round and round and round in circles here, I was hoping that we would be getting a bit more locked in to more of the formula and execution of, like, say what you will about the Amazing Spider-Man movies or Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, but just that approach, point of view driven through Peter Parker. Now, finally, getting to a couple of these quotes here, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, he's definitely addressing this whole conversation I've already been having with you through him responding to being asked about the studio wanting him to make more and more Spider-Man movies. He says, oh yeah, they do, and I want to make another one. I want to make many more, but I want to do it for the right reasons. And sure, it is speculation from the audience and us here. He kind of emphasizes that a couple of different times. And I would like to think that it's not just going to be, because he also says, he really cares about the character. He's taking it very seriously as kind of partially being a bit of a custodian now. He's advanced a bit more into the creative side of handling the future movies, which I really respect, especially with the way he's wording this stuff. But I think he's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to just do another No Way Home for the sake of it. Like, obviously this is a business, we need to make money, but he wants to do justice to the character, and I'm hoping that's what he means with that. I'm not saying that we can't have fun stuff to play with, or that it wouldn't be, in some considerations, a cool idea to bring back characters like Toby and Andrew, but I'm more like, hey, save that for like Secret Wars or something cool like that. Let's do something in the ways that I'm hoping Tom Holland is locked in on as well, with what we were just talking about for Spider-Man 4. Now, he goes on to say in the podcast, it needs work, but the writers are doing a great job. I read it 3 weeks ago, and it really lit a fire in me. Zendaya and I sat down, read it together, and we at times were bouncing around the living room. And that's so cool to just know. It's also really sweet to imagine that, sure, it needs work, but what kind of ideas, especially with Tom Holland expressing how important the character is and how he doesn't want to just do another one for the sake of doing one. Knowing that he's read it and he's getting very excited, knowing with fans in mind, is a good sign, but I'm still clearly apprehensive given everything I've already spoken about here. I don't know, I've rambled enough about this now. I would love to know your own thoughts on that, how you feel about it, what you think the future is actually going to be when we get Spider-Man 4, and do you think they can pave a road in where you can meet it halfway? So like No Way Home vibes of fan service, but mixed in with, a similar approach to what Raimi did and what the Amazing Spider-Man films did. Because I don't know if you truly can harness both. Because I feel like that's what the other films, 1, 2, and 3, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, already tried to do. But it was still not truly what I wanted. And I got that taster of what I wanted at the end, for it maybe to just be a continuation of a similar thing, just with, a new story for Peter again. I don't know. But any and all thoughts, guys, I want to see them down in the comments below. But that is where I'm going to end today's News Roundup video. Again, there's probably going to be more to talk about. I don't know if I've chucked a future Boba in here, or if not, I'm going to be making another video tomorrow, possibly on Creature Commandos, or any kind of DC Studios updates we get from New York Comic Con, and possibly in other sectors as well. Until then, I would really appreciate, I know I keep saying it, a like on this video, especially if you're watching right now. Consider subscribing for more news roundups just like this, reviews, breakdowns, all kinds of videos that we explore here on the channel. But until next time, I'm going to love you and leave you. So thank you so much for all of your support. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.